All right, today a fresh crack of Port Charlotte 10-year-old Isla heavily peated single malt Scotch whiskey, and this is from the Bruichladdich distillery on Isla, which is now owned by Remy Cointreau. If you didn't know, that is who is holding the reins over here ultimately, but they probably have lots of will to do whatever they want. But yes, this is a Remy Cointreau product. 50% ABV. I like the embossing on the back of this bottle too. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I can. Oh, there we go. 50% ABV or 100 proof. It is non-chill filtered and it is of natural color. That being said, despite the fact that this is an Isla distillery and a peated Isla whiskey, this particular peat is not the peat from Port Charlotte. So this does not come from Diageo's, not Port Charlotte, Port Ellen. Doesn't come from Port Charlotte. Doesn't come from Port Ellen. It does not come from Port Ellen's maltings, Diageo's Port Ellen maltings. Instead, it is a peat that is sourced from the Highlands. So despite the fact that it is in fact an Isla whiskey, it is using Highland peat and not Isla peat. So there's going to be a slight difference in the general character of the peated elements just for that reason. But it is peated to roughly 40 ppm, so that's not as crazy as Ardbeg, but still what we could call heavily peated. And this has a kind of a mix of casking going on here. It's kind of like sticky too. I'm not sure what's going on at the top of this, but it smells like smoky maple syrup. It smells like smoky molasses. I don't know what the deal is, but like the top of this has got like some like residue on it, and the top smells like smoky molasses. Or like, honestly, probably smells like what Ventorius's Maple Cabin smells like when they're making maple syrup. Honestly, that's what it smells like. That's kind of wild. Anyway, so this is 10-year-old age statement, in first fill ex-bourbon. So 65% of the vat is first fill ex-bourbon. 10% of the vat is second fill ex-bourbon, so what you might call refill bourbon, but it's second fill ex-bourbon. And 25% of the vat is your favorite and mine, ex-red wine. So again, 75% ex-bourbon, 25% ex-red wine, but it's mostly first fill ex-bourbon. And originally this Port Charlotte was a limited release product. It is no longer a limited release product, but in 2012 this was a limited release bottle. And it became a regular release in 2018 after Remy Cointreau kind of purchased the distillery. So big bottle, look cool. It is a nice. It's actually not completely black opaque. It's like a very dark green. Oh, let me get this. See if we can get this popping on here. Cork smells like smoke. Straight up, like liquid smoke. Pours pretty well, despite the fact that I felt like the bottle was maybe going to be annoying to pour. But it's sticky. This like smoky molasses, smoky maple stickiness on the top of the cork is like kind of weird, but it was sealed. There's nothing wrong with it as far as I can tell. Maybe they're just a little bit Butterfingers over there, Bruichladdich. There's our color, our natural color here. Non-chill filtered natural color. And again, it's kind of like a slightly darker, kind color than like a straw, though. It's almost, it's interesting, actually. It's an interesting color. It may not be obvious on the camera, but for me, this one bleeds into like a, almost like a beige, kind of weird, kind of funky beige color. That this beige color is kind of just got like a little off. It's not like obviously like yellow to orange. It's almost like slightly off color. So that's kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a different color. And of course, this is natural color. Pull up my notes I'd put in Discord. Oh yeah, that's right. You did post notes in Discord, didn't you? Yeah, I don't remember what you said about it, so that's good. So we're just gonna give this a little bit of a rest here, and then we'll talk about the aroma, which obviously is gonna involve some amount of smoky elements, and probably some amount of other characters. Again, there's extra red wine in the mix, and sometimes that can be slightly tannic, or give like a bitter red berry kind of note, or you might get something like bark or this sort of thing. Didn't know it had red wine in it. Yeah, so it's 25% red wine. Now, I don't know, with the cask exploration series, I don't know if when they change like red wine, like if they put Pomerol cask in it, for example, I don't know if that's instead of the red wine or if it's all Pomerol or what. But this particular expression, yeah, is 25% red wine. Oh, Oh, red wine makes a lot of sense. Interesting. It's a little different. That's a little different. So it's obviously got that your typical smoky characteristics. Smoky and campfirey. And I've been like pre-primed that a lot of Bruichladdich whiskeys have like a certain lactic character. And I'm not sure like what part of this is like the lactic note. But there is like some amount of like what I would call like a bitter red berry note. Like red wine makes some amount of sense here, but it's almost like there's a shock of a whole bunch of different characters that kind of arrive right at the same time. Like there's smoke, there's like a kind of a bitter red berry note. There's like a sea salt for me, like, but slightly vegetal. I guess you go like seaweed. But it does have like a weird profile to it, and I wonder if that's what people normally would call lactic. There's like a vegetal sweet note for me. Almost like sometimes I've described it as like dandelion stems. But it's like a sweet, salty, kind of slightly grassy, slightly vegetal kind of component. A bit of earthiness is kind of showing. There's just like a hint of wood in there too. Um, there's a lot of like interesting things happening on this nose. It's actually quite a bit of depth happening like right immediately. Because I go in there and it's like it feels like I get a whole bunch of different things like bombarding my senses, and I'm trying to like point it on specific elements and pick them up. Like something's hitting me like peppermint or like spearmint, like a minty kind of character. But it's like these waves are happening. It's because it's like I go in right now and I feel like I don't get that red wine, slightly bitter berry thing that I got like real at the first. That's like gone now. It feels like we're kind of like peeling back an onion of different flavors, because right at first it was more smoky, and then it was like more like red berry thing, and then it was like more vegetal. And I feel like I'm getting into like some of the wood and earth kind of notes. Oh, and there is that. No, there it is. Way at the bottom, there's like a lactic note. Yeah. It's like way at the, like, I wasn't getting it till now. It's really obvious now. Like way at the bottom of it, there's like this like plain yogurt kind of like lactic element. Interesting. Just a killer aroma. That being said, I'm wondering like where we'll settle on this though, because we've been through like a lot of different, just in the past few minutes, I've been through a lot of different waves of aroma, but sometimes like you'll peel back layers of aroma and you'll get them for like a little bit, but then they'll be gone and they'll never come back, and you'll kind of like rest. For me, it's usually somewhere on like a sweet character, like a sweeter kind of note. Because for me, sweetness tends to like end up, like the longer something's rested, the more sweet it becomes, at least in my anecdotal experience. But it's definitely like holding up. What's the aroma of it like? Oh, I've I've been talking about it for a little while now, so we've said lots of things. I used to inhale crack most days. That's a name. But yeah, it's not actually sticking on that. It's not actually sticking on that lactic note though. It's like, it feels like it's down on the bottom of it, but like other notes are kind of coming up here and there. This is a Port Charlotte heavily peated 10-year-old Isla single malt Scotch whiskey. Do you want to taste some of this? Okay. Mom's gonna take the first crack at this. Okay. See how far you can get your nose in the glass? No, I don't want to burn my nostrils. You like that? Mom's getting protein. The Richard Patterson technique. I do have some copitas now. We could do the Richard Patterson. Okay, so mom is drinking this and says it's not that peated. Okay, so I don't know what that says about her preference these days, but
it's not bad. But you know how like when you drink something really, really heavily peated, you brace yourself for like the Band-Aid punch?
Yeah, the Band-Aid notes are mostly only on Lafroig. That's actually a Lafroig thing. Because Lafroig has a percentage of its peat is its own malting. And usually only, in my experience, only Lafroig gets the iodine Band-Aid thing. Mom says it's okay. I think you wanted it to be Lafroig.
That's my baseline for whiskey now.
Mom's disappointed with this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to pour her some Lafroig, I think. I think she's our Lafroig girl.
I'm a frog.
Mom liking Pete more now? Yeah, we converted her 100%. She's like hook, line, and sinker. Fucking in the Nyla bog. 100%.
I thought it was going to be more.
Interesting.
Like, I thought it was going to be stronger. Like, I thought there was going to be more, like, the...
Interesting. It's 50% alcohol, so it's...
It doesn't feel like 50%.
It doesn't feel like 50%? Huh. Hi, how are you? Thank you. Oh, I get the meat now, though. That meat you're talking about?
There.
Oh, that's a development. Oh, yeah, that smoked meat's there. Oh, that's so weird because I didn't get that meat. I didn't get that meat until brisket's a good note. Yeah, brisket. I didn't get that till now. It's not just the meat though. It's like slightly sweet, like it's got barbecue sauce on it.
That's what it is.
It's like brisket with barbecue sauce. Whole thing is scuffed now, influenced by mom. Yeah, I'm so there on the meat. Oh, I definitely did not get that on the first go around, but I think that could be a development too. It could just be that those notes we're hitting right now. Nose is so good though. Actually, let's be honest, okay? Nose is so good.
The nose is what, like, nose calls back.
We've been talking about the nose for like 25 minutes, so that's gotta mean something. All right. What is that? What you're getting out that I smell? What are you getting out? Oh, I smell chicken now.
I don't know what
I'm being influenced. All right. Port Charlotte 10-year-old Isla single malt Scotch whiskey on the palate. Slancheva. Mouth feels really good. Texture is really nice. Yeah, really like that soft Fiji water, like soft mouthfeel, but so smooth. Actually, so smooth. I was waiting for the earthy bite, right? And it's not there. And I think that's the Isla peat, right? This is Highland peat. It's not Isla peat. And I was sitting there waiting for it to get really earthy, like that earthy bite that's at the back of every Isla whiskey. And it's not there. It's really smoky and grassy on the palate, but it's not terribly complex. And it's very smooth. Mom would call it disappointing. Huh. I do think the palette, at least that I, you know, huh. I did expect more out of the palette. I 100%. I agree with what Mom said.
Woohoo! Learning.
I did expect more out of the palette. Huh.
It's good though. Like
It's yeah. I mean, it's peated. It's smooth, easy to drink. It's got the peated flavors, but it's not got like.
But it falls flat.
It doesn't have like the rough and rugged, earthy notes that I come to expect, and it doesn't have like some of the like you know, it doesn't have the Lefroy kind of band-aidy thing going on. What's that? There's no smoked bacon. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see if we can get a protein out of it, but and this is something that I think I knew to be true about Highland peat. Is it's kind of more in the smoky campfire world, but it's not in like the grassy, earthy, salty world as much as the Isla peat tends to be, because the Isla peat is the Isla peat is very much dense in like wood. Like it's very like dead wood dense. Like it's more earthy and woody than like other peat varieties. So you kind of expect a certain level of sludginess, a certain level of earthiness to it. Some similarities on the nose, pretty different on the palate, yeah. I don't have a lot to say about the palate, at least with what I just experienced. It kind of felt like not nearly as pungent as I was expecting. Hmm. There is like a minty thing, a slightly like minty thing, slightly grassy thing. So on the finish, I'm getting like a kind of a grassy character, like a minty grassy character. Some of that earthiness is more present on the finish for me. There's a bit of like almost like tannic character on the finish too. Finish is not super duper long. Call it like medium minus. Some earthiness there. It's more earthy on the finish. But that place where I'm expecting the earthy note in the palate, it's not there. Stellar mouthfeel though. Like honestly, like very very smooth on the palate, like in terms of texture. It's very notable. The texture is very notable. I'm getting like some kind of like charcoal note at the way back of the finish. But Man, yeah, the palate for me is it's it's not got the depth of flavor that I want. For me, it's like it's got smoke. It's got like slight minty note. It's got like charred log, but that's like mostly it. It's not presenting a lot of unique flavors for me. That being said, like it's not that it's like it's unpleasant. It's just like for some reason I expected more. Like I expected more out of the palate for some reason. Because a lot of times in those Isla whiskeys, you get certain waves of like, okay, there's smoke, and then there's like that campfire, and then there's like slight grassiness, slight medicinal quality. You get some earth in there, you get some sludge in there maybe, and that's not quite the range I'm getting. It's like the flavors are less defined, more closer together. Still smoky, but slightly like the grassy character to me is like kind of feeling sort of minty. Um, and then like you maybe get like some like campfire related notes, like burnt log. Like it's like there's a woody note that's like dark, but it's not earthy. No fruit, not really. I did get some of that like kind of like slightly red berry kind of fruit thing on the nose at first. And you get it sometimes. But I'm not getting on orchard fruit or like a dried fruit. Like no like sherry cask related fruit, no like distillate related orchard fruit. Um, and it could just be fresh crack things, but like if you wanted to say there was a peach in here, I could be contorted to say there was a peach in here. Because I'm like running through my mental archive of like, okay, is there apple? No. Is there citrus? No. Is there, raisin and fig? No. But if you wanted to tell me there's like a peach in here, like I could be convinced that there's like a peach in here among these kind of like lighter characteristics. But that's like a far shot. And I definitely don't get them on the palate. So I'm curious. We gotta look now. We gotta look and see. We gotta look and see what you said about it. We're so different. We gotta look and see. Because sometimes all it takes is the power of suggestion, right? I can't fucking search because I'm in fucking streamer mode. No, yeah, I knew this one ended up in the wrong category. Oh, here it is. Barbecued fruit, eh? Yeah, no, when I can think of barbecue on this one, I'm thinking more protein. Like I'm getting like I like mom's note, like barbecue sauce covered brisket. Yeah, you got way more on the palate than I did. Like lemon, vanilla, meat, and oak. Man, I'm not even close to that. Yeah, I guess for me, now, here's the thing. This could have something to do um, with exposure. So what I mean by that is, right now my palate, when I drink this, I'm really getting like slammed by peat notes. To me, this is like, the palate is all peat notes. I'm not getting like any of the like, we'll say like underlying notes. Like you have peach, lemon, vanilla. I'm not getting any of those underlying notes. And it could just be that, like, maybe when you wrote this, you were drinking more peated scotch. And I haven't touched peated, like, super peated scotch in a little bit. You know what I mean? So it might just be like when you wrote this, you were more peat blind than I am today. Because right now, my palate is just getting peat notes. I'm not getting notes under the peat notes. Whereas, like, the palette that you wrote, it kind of like says like, okay, I got the peat, but then like I went like a layer deeper, and I'm just not getting that second layer. And it could just be like, because we haven't been talking about the smoky whiskeys that much recently, so it could just be I haven't had a lot of smoky whiskeys, and as a result, I'm getting like hit with all the peat notes. So on a peat kick for a bit, yeah, I mean that's what it could be, right? Like if you're in the peat all the time, you're gonna be more peat blind, and then you're gonna be like more susceptible to like the fruity characteristics that are underneath. And I think that's maybe what happened with this situation. This is also something that could happen like as we lower bottle fill, more of the fruit will come out maybe. You definitely are like way more on the citrus than me. I could get there with floral. Um, but citrus is like I'm not quite there on. I see you picked up on the oiliness on the finish though, and I definitely think like the texture of this is like really good. Like it's right up there with like Ardbeg Corey kind of texture. It's a very strong texture. It drinks like way underproof too. It's almost dangerous. Um, like almost like Craigellachie oil. Yeah, it's not quite that oily, but it is like um, the mouth feels very good on this whiskey. Absolutely. Like that's the most notable part of the palate for me is like the texture. Um, and maybe Maybe if I try this again, like if we talk about smoky whiskeys for a while and I kind of get like a little bit more peat blind, and maybe I'll get some more of those fruity characteristics. But for me, the palate was like all peat notes. And that lactic note that is in the aroma, it's like nowhere else. I don't know where this I don't know if that's supposed to be on the palate for some people, but I didn't get that at all. I just got it at, like on the bottom of the nose a little bit. But again, this is kind of like one of the things that we say. Oh, what did they say? Oh, huh. I wonder what they say on the bottle. Actually, I don't know if they even say anything on the bottle. Nothing's on the bottle. I don't know if there would have been something on the tube if I had got it. We can look it up and see what they say. But this is like why one of those things where like I always talk about, despite the fact that sometimes like, you know, you want to think that it's pretty clear and like you know what you detect is like what's there. Notes are so subjective, like they really are. They're subjective to your personal flavor recall. They're subjective to like what whiskeys you've been drinking recently. They're subjective to like what you had for lunch before you drank the whiskey. These are all things that influence the notes that you're going to get. So that's why it's like you can't. There's no right or wrong with this, right? And that's just to be clear. But I do feel like this bottle on this day, this dram, like I feel like me and my wife had a very similar experience. Like I think her and I are like right on this dram the exact same way. Does that mean you're getting better? I mean, you're never wrong. Let's see what it says. We're on this site here. Do they even give any notes? They might not even give notes. I don't know. Oh yeah, here's the breakdown here on this side if you guys see it. 65% first fill American whiskey, that's first fill ex-bourbon. 10% second fill American whiskey. 25% second fill French, it says second fill French wine cask. I didn't know it was second fill, but yeah, so 25% ex red wine. So what do they say about the nose? Marine ozone character. Dry and earthy. Golden caramel fudge vanilla custard ginger nutmeg clove. That is let me get rid of this thing. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one. That is like so far from either of our experience, I feel like. This fucking thing. It keeps minimizing. Citrus fruit coaxed from the glass with a drop of water. So they're getting citrus after you add water to it. So it's not that it's not there, but maybe it's easier to detect with water. So clearly you have something there. Like clearly there's a citrus note in there. Gentle lemon meringue, clementine, thyme, heather. Yeah, this is very spicy. The notes that they give here are very spicy, and I'm not there. At least not today. I'm totally not there. But yeah, clearly like they would agree with you with like this kind of like citrus lemon kind of idea. On the palate, noticeable delicacy, softness, and texture and style. Absolutely, that's unquestionable. That it's that the soft texture of the palate. That's like I think an unquestionable. Smoke wraps around the sweetness drawn from deep within the oak. Coconut. Anyone getting coconut on this dram? Looking out for coconut. Coconut, vanilla custard, lemon honey with smoked oysters and sun-baked salty sand. Okay. Yeah, so they write citrus. So I mean, I think it's clear like that citrus is not. I didn't get citrus, but citrus is not like a foreign entity here. There's citrus notes in here, but coconut and smoked oysters. Eh, smoked oysters. Eh. Eh. Subjectivity. And on the finish, smoky, sure, with a soft sweetness of fudge and malted barley. I didn't get a malt note up through this. Orange mango, banoff pie. Smoke comes and goes as to the notes of ripe apple and apricot, beautifully intertwined with malt and oak sweetness. Okay. And this says Port Charlotte heavily peated whiskey is always. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but what I would say about these notes here is I look forward to some more of this depth, I think, when my bottle is like not as full. I think these are notes that I kind of probably might expect to get when we reduce the fill level some. I think maybe like, at least for me, this one on the neck pour was just so smoky. It's so much on the peat notes. It's so like peat forward that I wasn't able to pick up the other stuff today. But I don't know if I'll ever get smoked oyster. That we might never get that note. Or the coconut. I don't know about coconut. When I hear coconut, I think like Mizunara oak cask. And that was not that was not in the cards for this bottle. That being said, it is really good. Like I don't mean to say that I disliked it. I just felt like the palate was like maybe too peat forward for me. Like for the same mouthfeel, if I went to like Ardbeg Corey Vrecken, I feel like I would get more of an experience on the palate with an Ardbeg Corey Vrecken with the same mouthfeel. That one would have kind of like more oomph to it. That being said, this definitely does not drink like 50% alcohol. It drinks like really smooth. It's very tasty. It's almost dangerous for a smoky whiskey. You could slam this, I think. Like you could slam this fairly easily. But in my experience, at least today, man, nose was a banger though. The nose, so good. But palate is like, okay. You know, mouthfeel, great. Palate was like smoky whiskey palate, you know. It didn't hit the fruit notes. It didn't hit the extra depth that I wanted it to. Missed on like the earthiness in the back of the palate, which I think is probably Isla Peat related. Yeah. Palate was the low point, I think, on this one for me today. But it's very drinkable. Absolutely. Pretty good. Pretty good, really. Let's